Super cool trick. Super cool trick. Here's what I want to tell you. You can make anything a stencil. You can make anything a channel. You could use anything as a selection. I just looked on my desk and I have a cassette tape. And I can take the cassette tape and lay it on a white background, point some light to it, try to get as perspective free a photo as I can. Right, now what I would do is I would send it to myself. Send yourself a message with the attachment. And then on your computer, go grab it. Send it to yourself, grab it, drag it to the desktop. All right, we're working. Open, desktop. Is this it? Here we go. Okay, just take a picture of anything. Now, of course, it helps if it's black. That helps. It helps, but it can be any color. It can be a can. And then you can change it to black and white, right? How do you do that? You just do Command-Shift-U in Photoshop to adjustments, hue saturation. That would let you slide it to gray, but there's also a quick desaturate. Command-Shift-U. Suck all the color out of it for me, please. It really doesn't matter. What I'm going to do, and this is important, if you're taking notes, get ready to take notes. Okay, this is my art. I'm going to select all. I just did Command-A or Control-A. And I'm looking, and my background color is currently set to white. If it's not, I'm going to hit the letter X on my keyboard or twist the little broken arrow. But I want white to be my background color so that when I do select all and I cut, Command-X, Control-X, I'm left with white. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. But I'm going to go to my channels, create a new channel, and I want to fill it with white and paste. Now, if I didn't fill with white and I pasted, it would be okay because this particular scan or photograph is the whole screen. But if you pick something small, you want it to be the black thing on the white background or vice versa. Now, it's on a channel, and if it's on a channel, is it a stencil? You bet it's a stencil. Well, what's the whole, the white or the black? Well, white is always the whole. Black is always the cardboard. Oh, darn. I want my cassette to be the whole. Well, then, invert it. Invert it. Take the image and invert it. I was looking for it because I'm lost. I just use the keyboard shortcut Command or Control I for invert. Now, invert ought to be called make a negative because that's what it does. But right now, what I'm looking at, the white and or gray, the not black part, will be my stencil. Now, I could open levels and play with how much whiteness I see or blackness I receive. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. I'm just playing around. I'm going to come back to RGB. That's my artwork. There's no artwork. But I'm going to command click and load my stencil. I now have loaded a perfect stencil. I don't want to draw that in the shape of a cassette tape. And anything I paint is only allowed to go inside the hole. Well, if I paint with black paint goes inside the hole. Let me sneak up and find one of my saved brushes. I have random dots of paint. That sounds like fun. And all this is a brush that I customized in Shape Dynamics. I said size jitter. Jitter is Adobe's word for randomize. So I'm saying randomize the size. Most brushes don't. This brush will. It's going to randomly change the size of my brush. You can also scatter the brush. Hey, brushes don't usually scatter. They go straight across, but I'm going to say scatter. You can see what's happening there. Blow them around, okay? And then there's something called color dynamics, and I'm saying I would like you to shift, please, from the foreground color to the background color, whatever two colors I pick, all the way, 100%. I want you to scatter whatever two colors I pick That's what I did, and I saved that, as we learned in the previous tip, as a new brush. I'm practicing what I teach. Practicing what I teach. Here we go. Brrr, brrr, brrr. Now, I don't like seeing the dancing ants while I do this trick, so let me undo and do Command H on the Mac or Control H on the PC. And the first time you do that, it'll say, do you want to hide Photoshop? Do you want to hide the selection? I choose hide the selection. It's still selected, but I don't see the dancing ants. It's still only painting inside the cassette tape, but I want to see my art without the dancing ants interfering. Oh man, that's cool. Any shape can become a stencil. Any shape can become the art in which you paint. That is so cool. Let me close that. That's amazing, and show it to you again. I've done this a couple of times. I sell customers these kinds of things, right? This is the lady's face for her CD cover, let's just say, and I've copied her photograph just like I did the cassette tape. My background is set to white. Select all, cut, just like I did with the cassette tape. You can always stop and rewind and watch this again. New channel, paste. I did invert because I want my paint to go in the white stuff. Come back to my artwork, RGB. I don't have any artwork. Command click, load the stencil, right? Command H, hide the dancing ants. I could do this with the dots. And there she is. Now in her case, I didn't do it with dots. I did it with someone's signature. Mine. How did I get that signature? Well, I drew it with a Sharpie marker on a piece of paper and I took a picture of it. And I brought it into Photoshop. And I selected it. I selected it with my rectangle tool and I said, edit, define a brush. We've been here. You can make a brush out of anything. I could make a cassette tape brush if I wanted to. But that's how I got my signature, as a watermark. At any rate, I've got my signature loaded. Brush, sig, but I'm going to go back up and customize the brush. Shape dynamics, size jitter, brush tip shape, change the spacing. Same thing I did, scatter it. No matter where I drag it, you scatter it. I might want to go back and revisit my spacing now, you see? I've got a bunch of those, right? Where was that? Oh, there's size jitter. Good, you get the idea. So I'm customizing a brush. I could go save this as Wacky Ricky B brush. Angle jitter, I'm going to say go every way. Rotate up to 360 degrees or 100%, right? And I'm going to close that off. Now, I still have her selection hidden. And now if I paint, it just puts my signature inside that original photograph. Now this could be her signature. Maybe this is the name of her, my recording artist, or the name of her album as it blasts out there. How cool is that? Now I can always change the color of my brush and even select the inverse. And now I'm painting with white in the not dark spots. So I get some white brushes going on too. You get the idea. There it is. I've done this many times with many apps, with many customers, so much so I've saved it in a library in Bridge called Sig Pics, and I just take the customer's signature and I build them a portrait out of the signature, right? So you could do the same thing. That's her signature. That's just an image I found copyright free on Google for practice. I used the font called Elegant because I couldn't get this woman's signature. She's probably been dead for 200 years. So I just grabbed a font, and that is all made up of that Isadora as a custom brush. There you go. Anything can be a custom stencil. Thank you so much for taking this course. Please consider my other courses, only available at bpsop.com.